Hello, I'm DeJuan, and welcome back to the DeJuan Show. I just want to thank everyone for the amazing reception to the first episode. It means so much to me. It makes me feel that I am doing something of value, so just thank you. This episode was inspired by a comment that I got in my first video, so it's going to be an Ask DeJuan and a story time all in one. Let's go ahead and get the show started. The comment comes from @CandidKilos Creations. It says, piggybacking off of how to get unstuck. Have you ever had a not so ideal life experience or life choice that impacted your life in a positive way? Obviously, life is filled with experiences that propel our future decisions, but have you ever found an unexpected brightness in a dark place? I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Thank you for that comment. It actually comes from a really great friend of mine. Her name is Steph. She makes amazing weightlifting belts. She can do anything. She builds furniture. So I'm going to link her below so you can go ahead and check her out. Right after college, I got a job working for the apartment that I lived in. My job was to lease apartments to incoming students for the next year. During my time there, I worked hard and I ended up getting promoted to the sales and marketing manager. With that promotion came a nice salary and a free apartment. As a 22, 23-year-old, you couldn't have told me I wasn't a Rockefeller, okay? You couldn't have told me. I felt rich, okay? After that, the apartment was bought by a new management company, and they wanted to bring in their own team of managers, and because of that, they let go of all of the current managers. So that meant that because of no merit of my own, I was losing my job. And not only was I losing my job, but I was losing my apartment. So I was devastated. I had no clue what I was going to do. They were only giving me about a month to go ahead and find a new place. So, finding a new place is already hard, and finding a new job, but I had to do them both. I had no time to do it. And because I was 20-something, I didn't have any money saved, so that meant that I needed to find something quick, and the apartment that I needed to get, I couldn't pay for it. So I was in a desperate position. The first couple of weeks, I sat around feeling sorry for myself because I was scared. I was very scared. And then my friend, a really good friend of mine who I worked with at the previous job, she ended up getting a job in Indianapolis and was going to be leaving. So in the middle of everything, lost my job, lost my apartment. Now my best friend was moving away. Really? I was like, enough is enough. Because enough was enough, I was like, you know what? Then I'm going to get up out of here too. Like, if she's leaving for Indianapolis, I want to go to Indianapolis. I want to live in the big city. I ended up applying for a job. It was another leasing position, and thankfully I got it. And I stayed at that job for 5 years. And I say 5 years because I had set in my mind that I was only going to stay in Indianapolis for 5 years. And in 5 years, I was moving to New York. At this new job that I worked at, I ended up getting promoted again. I became the senior leasing consultant. I then was promoted to residential coordinator. So basically, instead of having to lease apartments to new people, I was helping to maintain current residents at this apartment. And then ultimately, I was promoted to the accounts manager. So handling rent collection, delinquency, and things like that. And through that process, I developed, a belief that, okay, I can do good work. At my previous job, I got promoted. At this current job, I ended up getting promoted. So it made me start to feel, okay, I can do some stuff. I'm pretty good at some stuff. Also at this time, I started doing theater. So I was doing regional productions, and then I also did some professional work as well. And talk about gaining confidence. Theater was so amazing for me because as a kid who grew up the way that I did and felt, not very confident, having theater and the ability to be someone else, and that person is confident and strong and able to do anything, I started to embody those same things within myself. I became that character who could do anything. And even in one show, I did the show Hair, and I had to be nude. I was terrified. Like DeJuan was terrified, but the character was not terrified. And the way that I justified it, I said the character would do this. And the character, he's very confident. This is exactly what he would do. So I did it. When I did that, it's like some part of that character became me going forward. And I gained something that I didn't have before. So fast forward, I'm doing professional theater. I'm the accounts manager at an apartment, and my 5 years is approaching. And because I knew it was approaching, I set a date. I set a date and said, this is the day that I'm moving. I am moving October 25th because that is 5 years to the day. So I put in notice at my job. I put in notice at my apartment. I started selling belongings. I started selling furniture. I got rid of everything. The thing that's funny to me now is up until about 6 weeks before moving, I didn't even have a place to live. But I knew that no matter what, I was moving. Even if I had to live in a cardboard box, I was moving to New York City. I had tried several times before and it didn't work. But this time I said, this is my time. I'm moving to New York City. And like I said, about 6 weeks before, I didn't know where I was going to live. And then a friend of mine who I did theater with texted me and said that she knew someone in New York who was looking for a roommate at just the time that I was moving. She connected us, and that's where I ended up living. So, brightness from a dark place? Absolutely. Had I not gotten fired from that job, I may have still been living there because I felt that that was amazing for me, and it felt like I was living such a big life. Deep down inside, I knew that there was more that was meant for me. So by getting fired, that allowed me the opportunity to go for the more, which was to move to Indianapolis, which was the big city for me at the time, and then to ultimately move to New York. And yesterday, the 25th, was my 8th year here in New York. I did it. I made it 8 years. And not only did I make it 8 years, but I have my own apartment. I am now building this channel to share my experiences with you. So yeah, so much brightness can come from a dark place. And I will say that it's because of darkness that light is able to shine so bright. Anything that has happened in my life from really that point forward, I am able to see it as an opportunity. It was something that happened for me and not to me. I can go back and there's so many examples when I look back. My grandmother often says that hindsight is 20/20. And when I look back on losing my job and other experiences in my life that were at the time devastating and seemed like they were a dark time, they were the thing that actually propelled me forward. They were the thing that put me into action, because I could either stay uncomfortable by not doing something, or I could be uncomfortable and do something that I really wanted to do. And that's what I do now. When there's an uncomfortable situation that comes up, when there's a dark situation that comes up, I choose my discomfort. I choose the thing, listen, it's already going to be uncomfortable, so I would rather choose my discomfort. So as opposed to being uncomfortable with this thing happening to me, I'm going to be uncomfortable because I'm doing something that I really want to do. Even if it's scary, that's the thing that I choose. So there's always brightness in a dark spot. It's just how summer is so amazing because you have winter. If there was no winter and it was just eternal summer, you'd get bored of it. And you wouldn't have a reason to get excited or really think, because every day would just become the same. But because you have winter, then all of a sudden, when summer comes around, well, then it's so exciting. And you're so looking forward to doing everything. It's the same with life. Life has dark moments, but the dark moments are opportunities. I feel that we only move when we're uncomfortable. When things are comfortable, you'll stay there. It's like having a nice dream. You're just going to relax into it. It's when that dream becomes a nightmare that you want to wake up. That's the thing that motivates you. So when the darkness comes into your life, that's the thing that's motivating you to move towards the light, to create whatever light it is that you want. I'd say when dark things are happening in your life, just know that on the other side of this, there is light. And oftentimes, if you look back, it's the darkness that created the brightest brights in your life. There are opportunities in them. And when you decide to look at your life and to see that this darkness that comes in, it's actually for your good. And when you can find what the good is in it, well, then nothing becomes bad at that point. Every experience is a good experience because it's all for you. These dark experiences are there to propel you forward. I now look at them as these are opportunities. I actually start to get excited. When something happens in my life that's bad, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I know on the other side of this is something really good. And so I start looking for the opportunity. What's the thing? What's the lesson in all of this? What am I supposed to be doing because of this thing? Because if this thing is happening, that means I'm supposed to be doing something else. So I'd say that is my advice to you. If you are in a situation right now that you feel is dark, that you feel is negative, that something is happening to you, look at that thing. And why is that thing being removed from your life? Why is that person being removed from your life? Why is that job being removed from your life? Why is that situation? And if you look, there's an opportunity there. And that opportunity probably has something to do with a dream that you have about your life. And you can use this as your opportunity to step into everything that you want to be. So you can look at it as, okay, this is something that's happening to me, or a better way is to look at it and say, this thing is happening for me. That was it. The second episode of the DeJuan Show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a question or need advice on something that's happening in your life, put it in the comment below. I would love to see how I could help out. That's what I'm here for. Also, if you found this video inspiring, you liked it, you liked me, whatever, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and share it with a friend. Again, I said this in that last episode. I'm going to say it in this one. Someone may find this helpful. There may be a little nugget that they can take and that helps their perspective. So please share it. Thank you again for tuning into the DeJuan Show. I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.